Welcome anyone that found the video. I want to tell you about my new project. You can kind of see the seat back there. Just picked up a 1979 Suzuki gs750. This maybe an E and maybe an L. I think it's an E. The number plates on the side say L. Doesn't matter to me anyway. Awesome find, scored it, found it on Facebook Marketplace. Woman's father passed away. He bought the bike brand new in 1979. The last inspection sticker I found was 1984. So the bike has been sitting for 36 years, 5,200 miles on it. Everything is factory. The inside of the tank was clean as new. Couldn't believe I scored this bike. The only kind of weirdness on it is the wiring. Don't know what he did, but it looks like some other 80s vehicles I've had where I think the guys, they work with what they had. He's got air horns on it and some kind of voltage meter. I hope there wasn't a charging problem with it. But this bike is sat inside at least since 1984. And I can look at all the screws. There's little details you can look at inside of Allen head bolts or something and tell if it's rust. There is no rust on this bike. Beautiful machine, even in factory form. It has a goofy fairing on the front. It's aftermarket. Might leave it on there. If I like it, I'll leave it. But I wanted to tell you guys about this score I found. I'm super excited because I needed another project to work on. This was going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to run you in a couple days. I've got to work the next day or two. But I wanted to put it out there, get it on video because I'm super excited about this. And see what it takes. I'm going to take you through, show you what I do before I try to start it. I'm really thinking I'm going to put a battery, gas in this motorcycle, and it's going to start. That's what I'm hoping anyway. Like 5,200 miles on it. Never been molested, never been tore up that I can tell, never hot rodded. Factory airbox is still on it. Just a really pretty motorcycle, a survivor from the 70s. So next, I'm going to get some stuff together, show you what I do to get one running. Because this is the first motorcycle. I'm not a motorcycle guy. I've had one Harley. I hated it. And this one sits more like, it makes more sense to me, the ergonomics of it. But we're going to get it going, we're going to get it running, and I don't think it's going to take much. Alright, motorcycle sitting on the ground in the shop. It was a lot of fun getting that off the back of the truck by myself, but I ended up using the tractor and a couple straps. A whole lot safer and easier than trying to move 500 pounds down a ramp with no brakes by myself. But on the ground in the garage, nice looking machine. I said no rust. It does have surface rust on it, on the bars and some other chrome, but still obviously never sat outside. So just going to do some things. I haven't tried anything with it, just got it in the garage. Want to get a better look at it. There are some things that need work, which it should. It's a older bike that hasn't been rode in a long time. You see the inspection sticker. Last inspection sticker on it was 84 out of Pennsylvania. So I have, as far as I know, it hasn't been ridden since 84. It's a 79 model. We're just going to check it over, see what it needs. It's not locked up. I did check that. It's got a kicker. Seems to have good compression. Check for oil. There's no oil in it. And looking at the condition of the gas tank and not seeing any oil in it, I'm wondering if they actually set this up for storage. I'm not sure how well you can see. Really clean inside. So keep messing with it. See if I can get the seat off of it. Get the battery out. Might hook power to it. Just see the gauges work. Lights. Obviously not expecting tail lights to work or turn signals. Hopefully the gauge cluster will work the way it's supposed to. One last thing that had to be fixed on it. Let's see. Trying to figure out how this key for the gas cap works. There it goes. So let's pull the seat off and see what's under that. Kind of neat how you get the seat off here. A little hard with one hand. But see, it's got a locking pin. That comes up. And it's got the seat cover on it, which I'm hoping is there to protect the original seat and not because the original seat is really in bad shape. Doesn't look like it though. Foam feels nice. I don't feel any cuts, any missing, anything on there. But as I referred to earlier, I can't imagine what all this is wired, what all this wiring's for. And it's on and on like that. I did notice the air horns up front, so there's got to be a little compressor somewhere for those. See something. It looks like they took the fuel line off the petcock, probably to drain it, I'm hoping. That's why the tank's so clean. So if this bike hasn't been ran since 1984, that means this motorcycle's never had ethanol fuel in it. And as long as I can help it, and I own it, it still won't have ethanol fuel in it. I don't even like it on newer fuel-injected vehicles, so I'm not going to run it in this if I can help it. There are a few stations around that sell it. Oh, I see the compressor for the air horn down there. Let's see if I can get this battery out real quick and hook some power. I don't have another battery yet. I said just got this off the truck, so I didn't know what kind of battery I would need. Oh, that came loose really easily. Let's see. Put that back in. This one off. I'm just going to hook the booster box to it. I'm not going to try to turn it over, see if the starter works, anything like that, because it doesn't appear to have. It doesn't appear to have any oil in it. So let's get this battery out. As it has swollen a little bit. Explains why it's a little difficult to get out. Nothing obviously wrong. Like I said, I don't know what a lot of these things are even in here for. I'm thinking this is running up here to this voltage monitor. And again, I'm hoping that's not because there was a charging issue with this motorcycle. But we've got it this far. Let's see what happens when we hook power to it. So we'll hit the ground first. Put the booster box on the... I heard a beep. Sound like a horn. Alright, let's see what we get. I see lights. It looks like both the backlights are working for the attack and the speedometer. Neutral. Let's see. Do we have headlights? We do have a headlight. Wow. Well, this is shaping up nice. I wonder about a horn. It's got an air horn on it. Ah, how cool is that? Well, I'm going to put some oil in this and see if it'll at least turn over with the starter. And then I'll probably pull this tank, make sure I hook the petcock back up correctly, because it looks like there's two lines down there. I'm assuming one's probably a vacuum, the other one's a fuel supply. And see if it'll run. Well, got some oil in it. Held about 2 quarts. And you can see in the sight glass there. New clean oil. Holding 2 quarts makes me think that the oil was drained out of this machine. And it's not just, it didn't just leak out over the years. Everything's dry up under the machine. I'm going to just kick it a few times, or use the Kickstarter. My dog will move. Oh, move. Thank you. Just having the option, I would rather just lubricate things, get it spinning a little bit before I hit it with the starter, and everything turns a whole lot quicker. So I still have no gas in this. I'm not trying to start it at the moment, but I want to see if the starter works. Still got my booster box hooked up. Let's turn the key. It's in neutral. According to that, it's in neutral. Let's just verify. Yep, rear wheel still spins. Start button over here. And nothing. Am I missing something? Kickstand's down. Is there a safety switch that I'm missing? I hope there's not a bad starter. Well, a bad starter would probably still click. I'm wondering if I'm missing a safety switch somewhere. Let me investigate and we'll find out. So I'm going to go out on a limb here and guess that it's a safety switch holding this from engaging the starter. I knew when I bought it had no brakes, front or rear. Just pulled the cover off the master cylinder for the front and no fluid. It's dry, sort of. Still a little bit of noise going on. Normally I would clean that out before I put any in it, but I want to see if this is going to do anything. I don't want to invest a whole lot into cleaning all this out, putting front brakes working for a motorcycle that doesn't run, because I have no idea the condition internally of this anyway. But we're going to try bleeding the brakes and see if I can get any front brakes, if they'll hold any pressure. Hopefully the bleeders aren't stuck. One cool thing on this motorcycle is dual front brakes, or a disc I mean. So squeezing the handle right now I get nothing. It's not even trying to pump up. It may be one where if I can open the bleeders and let it sit and let gravity take it, or it could be solidified inside the lines. But either way, I think I'm going to have to build pressure on this. That opened right up. That was nice. So let's pump the brake. And I'm getting nothing. Absolutely nothing. So I may set this a little bit, see if some air bubbles will pop out. If they don't, I'll take that banjo bolt loose and start tracing brake lines up and figure out where I can break it. This may be the first place I break, just to see if it will build any pressure or do anything there. So I will try that and we'll see what happens. So I was thinking safety switch with the brake levers, and I put some fluid in the master cylinder. I'm getting nothing. I get an air bubble every now and then out of here. Pulled this banjo bolt and I hear pressure pushing and pulling here, but I'm not getting anything. So I'll investigate that later. Not the concern right now, but I was thinking, not sure why it does that either, but I was thinking that I had to have brake line pressure to actuate a safety switch, and then it hit me. I bet it's the clutch. Didn't even think about that. Again, motorcycles are not my thing. So I'm going to try this, trying to zip tie this so that I can do it one-handed, because the clutch is on the left side, the starter button is on the right side. So I have the clutch pulled in, held with a zip tie, turn on the key, and we're going to see if it at least turns over with the start button. Hey! Turns over fast too. So that's progress. And I don't know what all these little switches are for. I got one there. I've got a little toggle switch down there. No clue what those are doing. That's a good sign. So we've got oil. I've got power. I have to figure out what's going on with the gas. As far as hooking the petcock back up, I actually have to go down the road and buy some gas. I'm put a little bit in it, and I imagine this thing's going to be running today. But we'll see. Let me go get some gas and see what we can do. Moment of truth. You can see the gas can's over there. Got some gas in the machine. I think I hooked all of the fuel lines back up. There were 3 lines. I'm believing 2 went to the petcock and 1 went to what looked like a vent for the tank. I even hooked the fuel sending unit back up. I don't know if it works or not. I do have it on reserve right now. I didn't put much fuel in it. I mean, it may be a gallon in it. I doubt that. Just looking to see if it will actually fire up. In fact, it looks like the fuel gauge actually came up. I know it's on E, but it was much lower. So, fingers crossed. Choke is pulled. It's in run. First time, probably 36 years since anybody's tried to start this machine. So let's see what happens. And the bowls may not have filled yet. I've given it some time. There may be some more issues with this. Don't know. Not even hitting. Maybe there's a safety switch or something. I should have said lockout switch. Listen to that. It's hitting. Let's take choke off. It wants to. Almost. It runs. It's not idling, and it looks like it's pouring gas out of something. Because it is. But it hit, it ran, it did something. So now I got to figure out where the gas is coming from. And then maybe it'll start up and run on it, and sit there and idle. As you can see, it's off the center stand and facing a different direction here in the garage, which means I moved it. It moved under its own power. Still don't have a battery in it. Jumped it off. It runs without the battery. Rode it around the yard. First gear, didn't move quick, but it rides great. The fuel dumping out was one of the floats stuck. Just took a screwdriver and tapped the bowl. Sometimes if you take the butt end of a screwdriver and just tap the bowls, if the float's stuck, it'll break loose. Apparently it worked. Sometimes you luck out. So I lucked out on that one. Rode it around the yard. Runs real good. Sits and idles great. I found one loose spark plug actually. I had it idling here in the garage, and I kept hearing something hiss. This spark plug was loose. So put it back in. No problem. Indicators work. All of the gauges work. Put bulbs in the turn signals. They worked. Missing some things. Obviously missing the lenses for it. That one's still just stuck up under there somewhere. I zip tied these on so they wouldn't be flopping around hitting the rear wheel. No brake lights. I'll fix all that. I think the wiring stuff I was looking at earlier is part of an alarm system, because I traced one out. It wasn't hard to find. But down here, this wire, and then a row of magnets here, and there's a sensor right there. I think all that's part of an alarm system, so I'll take all that off. But everything looks good. Even the tires, I mean, I didn't even pump them up. They had air in them, and I know the people I bought it from did not do that. Everything worked out great. I couldn't kickstart it, probably because it doesn't have a battery at all in it. Did get the front brakes going, kept filling the reservoir, kept pumping, and had trash in them. But got one side going, bled it out, and then took the banjo fitting loose here, and once they were tight at the brake handle, just really squeezed hard until it finally just broke loose, and it's actually shot brake fluid on my tailgate of my truck way out there. But once that broke loose, bled the brakes. I have front brakes. Tried the back brakes, the rears, behind this cover, the master cylinder, but I'm getting a lot of fluid out of the bottom of the master cylinder. Kind of see, so that probably needs a rebuild or a new one. But for what I paid for the motorcycle, and if that's all I have to do to it, that plus some wiring and lights, I feel like I came out good with it. It runs excellent. So I'm going to leave it at that. Get me a battery for it, fix these rear brakes, and ride it around, see what it does. But thank you for watching.